Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Marvel Monday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Marvel Legends series, Captain Marvel, from the Captain Marvel movie. Thank you for watching this video, or any of my other videos that you may have run across, which I hope is all of them. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting the channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just to help the channel out. That's cool too. Or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. And with all that said, let's get into it. First up, as we normally do here on Digital Caveman Present, let's take a look at the packaging. Build-A-Figure, Kree Century. Ages 4 and up, assortment number. Warning, don't stick things in your pie hole. The Captain Marvel symbol. Marvel Legends series. Well, it doesn't say Marvel. Nice window showcasing the figure and accessories. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel. How many times can I say Marvel? Hasbro print. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print. Made in China print. And a barcode. On this side, artwork of Captain Marvel and artwork of Captain Marvel. And on the back, artwork of Captain Marvel. Marvel Legends series, Captain Marvel. Accompanied by her furry sidekick Goose, Captain Marvel suits up to defend the universe from intergalactic threats. Build-A-Figure, there's the completed Build-A-Figure and numbers that correspond with which figure in the series it comes with over here on the cross sale. Warning, don't stick things in your foreign language pie holes that don't belong there. Some more small print, fine print, legalese print, Marvel print, made in China print, and Hasbro print. And that, my friends, completes a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and the accessory, and we'll start with the accessory, and it is Goose the Flurgan. I have to say, you know, it's an okay cat model, and it comes in the package where she's holding it, cradling, like kind of cradling it in her hands like this, but it can also sit like this, like it's playing with something. And I have to say, you know, it's a nice paint apps there for the eyes, and then maybe I think it's an overspray here for the back, or it could be the overspray on this side. I don't know. But on one side of it, there's some paint. So, not a horrible looking little static piece. Now, considering that's the only accessory that comes with the figure, we'll talk about that later. So, let's take a look at the figure herself. And I have to say, they did a pretty good job getting a likeness of the actor. And I think they did an okay job with the deco, which might be early inkjet. I'm seeing some little dots on there that suggest that. But the eyes are just a little bit off. One seems a little bit crossed in toward the nose a little bit. But they did okay on the eyebrows, and the lips seem to be faded out just a little bit, and then there's some smudge or something on the side of her face there. But I think sculpt wise it looks like the actor, so if that's something you're looking for, that's okay. Nice sculpted detail here in the hair, and it does have a wash in there, so I think they spent most of the paint apps for this wave on this figure. It's got a nice tampo there on the back of the jacket. Nice sculpted details in as well. It does have a nice shiny paint for her uniform, and I think it's all painted, everything except for the arms and the jacket overlay here. And you know, looks pretty good. Got some paint apps here, and I mean, there's all kind of paint apps going on here and down the legs and stuff. So again, I think they spent the majority of the paint app budget for this wave on this figure. And I have to say, you know, I mean, all those apps, it does look good. And you know, I'm just judging this on the figure, not how I feel about how the character was portrayed or the actor or what have you. But you know, we're just taking a look at the figure. And again, it's not the greatest figure, but I want to say this is probably the most paint apps on a Marvel Legend I've seen in a long time. And it looks okay. And again, this might be early inkjet for the face, very early. And then her hair kind of has that windswept look. It would have been nice for this one to have an alternate head in it to, you know, give her just a regular look rather than the wind-swept look. But, you know, that one came with the, I want to say it was a Walmart exclusive figure where she was all in the helmet and everything with the mohawk and what have you. So let's talk about her articulation a little bit. Ball and hinge at the neck, doesn't really look up. Looks down that far, so I guess she wasn't going to go flying in the jacket. Maybe I can get it. Let's see. Yep. Get it right off and discombobulate everything. Let's see if we can get that fixed. Alright. Alright, then maybe that's fixed, but... So yeah, she doesn't really look up. She can look down. She's got some waggle. She's got not really any chicken neck. She can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, 360 degrees of rotation, and her arm will straighten out at the shoulder a little better than 90 degrees. Nothing in the bicep. Single swinge. There I go, trying to make that word up again. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, 360 degrees of rotation, and it gives you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on the other side too, so she only has slap hands. It's a cut here with the chest and the abdomen meet, gives her plenty of hula, 360 degrees of rotation. She can lean left and right pretty good. She can lean back that far. She can crunch forward that far. So twist here means nothing at the waist. So yeah, nothing at the waist. At the hips, she can give you that much of the splits. She can kick forward that far, almost 90 degrees. And then back, not really any at all. Cut at the upper thigh, 360 degrees of rotation there. Double hinge pinned knee gives you that much bend, so that's not bad. I mean, it's, you know, they usually give you pretty good range in the pin knees, but it's just they wiggle and waggle under pressure. So at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, so that's really good range for her ankles. And then there is a rock around the clock pin for rocker. And there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and the Flurgan. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Marvel Legends series Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure wave. At least the members of the assortment who have Build-A-Figure pieces. And that includes the MCU's Captain Marvel with jacket, the MCU Nick Fury, the MCU Jan Rog, the MCU Talos, Genis Vale, the Grey Gargoyle, and the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Marvel Legends series Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure waves, MCU Captain Marvel with jacket along with Gustav Flurgan, with, from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final ramblings on the Marvel Legends series, Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure waves, MCU Captain Marvel with jacket. You know, I know you guys are asking, why is he covering this figure? Yeah, I didn't super enjoy the movie. I didn't think it was a very good depiction of the character, and I didn't like the way everything was written, and it's just not a great movie. And then throw, you know, the actors' political views in the mix, which is, she did. Nobody else did. She threw those in the mix, and it really, anyway, I didn't enjoy the movie. I only have this figure because I wanted to complete the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure, and most of this wave was really, really cheap, so it didn't cost me a lot to finish that Kree Build-A-Figure. The best figure out of this wave was the Grey Gargoyle, and that's also the only figure I bought before I was doing reviews out of this wave. So that's the best figure in the wave, is the one that's not being reviewed out of this wave. And if you're asking, you know, again, why is he covering this now? Well, the well is running dry, my friends, and this whole wave has been sitting in my to-do drawer for a very long time to get done. When I started doing reviews, I told myself, everything I buy, I'm going to review it. If it has to do with action figure toys, I'm going to review it. So that's why I'm reviewing this, because I did purchase it really cheap to complete the Kree Sentry Build-A-Figure. And, you know, it's a pretty lackluster wave. You know, and I'm not going to continue talking about the entire wave. We're talking about this figure. Now, I will say they did some really good paint apps on this figure. It does have some pretty good range of motion. If you keep in mind from when it was made, it even outperforms the range of motion on some figures that have been recently made. And I think they did a good job with the face sculpt. It does look like the actor. And, you know, I think everything pretty much on this figure is painted. Or there's a paint app somewhere on it. The jacket overlay and the sleeves, maybe not as much, because the jacket does have the tampo there, you can see on the back. And that's about it. It has nice molded detail in it. But, you know, for the time it was made, it's not a bad figure. It's just, I wouldn't have bought it because I really don't collect the MCU figures anymore, and I really wasn't collecting them at the time, but I did pick this wave up because, number one, I wanted to finish that Kree Sentry, and number two, they were really, really cheap. And the cheap part came before the wanting to really finish that Kree Sentry. And so I did. They were really cheap, and they've been sitting in the to-do drawer pretty much since then. I've shot a few pieces, you can probably tell by the beginning of this. It's an older video. At least the beginning was recorded a while back before I started doing, you know, certain things. So it's been waiting a while, and finally it's done, and it can go away into a box somewhere. And like I say, you know, it's not a horrible figure. It does have really good paint apps on it. I think it's a really early attempt with the inkjet on the face, but it's not 100% there. You know, then you got the Flurkin. Goose the Flurkin. And, you know, I mean, it's not a bad mold. It ain't great. Doesn't have great paint apps on it either. But, you know, it's not bad. It is what it is. It's a cat playing until he opens his mouth. So, you know, I mean, again, it's not a horrible figure. But if it didn't have a Build-A-Figure piece, I wouldn't have picked it up. And if it wasn't super cheap, when I picked it up, I wouldn't have picked it up. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you were in a position to do so. Excuse me. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.